DCEU has had its fair share of ups and downs throughout the years, with some films being critically acclaimed and financially successful, while others have been kind of panned by critics and audiences alike. However, one character that has consistently been a bright spot in the franchise is the character of Diana Prince Wonder Woman. Well, for the most part at least. The character of Wonder Woman has been played by Gal Gadot throughout the universe so far, ever since her first appearance in Batman vs Superman, and her character has been portrayed as a kind of strong beacon of hope and strength for the universe. Even though I haven't seen the film yet, her cameo in Shazam! Fury of the Gods further exemplifies the notion of Diana's impact on the DC universe as a whole. For the most part, I haven't really had too big of an issue with Gal Gadot's portrayal of the character, but with that being said, I feel like James Gunn's new vision for the DC universe seems to be heading in a different direction and features, a lot more emphasis on the heavy hitters like, the Trinity, that being Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, possibly being portrayed in a different light with new actors coming in. James Gunn has expressed massive interest in the character of Wonder Woman brand through like the Paradise Lost prequel that was announced during his DC Universe Chapter 1 announcement, where it basically is a spin-off show focusing on Themyscira before the birth of Diana, or Wonder Woman. And there was also James Gunn on Twitter conveying the intent of producing more animation content focusing on Wonder Woman, as he was responding to a couple of fan comments regarding Wonder Woman's future in the DC universe. With this new version of the, I guess, somewhat DCU reboot on the horizon, I believe there are yet some key features of the character that have yet to be explored that need to further be exemplified to have her stand out in a significant way. But before we get into the video, make sure to join the Discord server that I've linked down below and in the pinned comment. Come join. I'm trying to build a community over there, really just talking about, build a fan base, talking about DC, Marvel, and just other comic book related media and kind of just comic book genres over there. Trying to see what your interests are, have debates, discussions, just all on that. If you really want to join the community, I'll link it down below in the description, and I'll just leave it in the top pinned comment down below. All right, back to the video. First thing that needs to be done when it comes to James Gunn's interpretation of the DC universe is recast the character of Wonder Woman. Now, generally speaking, I don't have too big of an issue with Gal Gadot's portrayal of Wonder Woman, but the fact that they're already going out of the way to recast Batman and Superman, you might as well, recast Wonder Woman. It'd be kind of weird if you kept Gal Gadot, but she's interacting with a completely different interpretation of characters like Batman and Superman. And initially, when the reboot, or I guess his announcement for the future of DC was first announced, I had initially thought that it was a guarantee that she was getting recast, but then her appearance in Shazam! Fury of the Gods kind of contradicts that. Not necessarily, get rid of the idea of a recast, but it's just kind of unclear, because he was never really clear on whether they'd get a different actress or if they would just keep it. But personally, I think they should get a different actress. Nothing against the current one, but I think that having a fresh face just would better lead to the different aspects that should be implemented that I'll go over later in this video. The one aspect of Wonder Woman that often gets overlooked is her connection to the Greek gods and just overall the Greek mythology of the character. As an Amazon, she is imbued with the power of the gods, and her origins are steeped in ancient legend. But in a lot of, the previous two films, that being Wonder Woman in 1984, this aspect of her character hasn't really been too focused on. It's been kind of downplayed or ignored entirely. Now, there have been nods and references to Diana's mythological background with, Ares serving as the main antagonist of the first Wonder Woman movie. And while the movie is a pretty solid entry in the DCEU, the one thing it kind of fumbled was the interpretation of Ares, the god of war, in my opinion, essentially how it downplayed him during his encounter with Wonder Woman. And the other significant nod or reference to the Greek gods was in Zack Snyder's Justice League during the Darkseid flashback, in which Wonder Woman was explaining to Bruce how Darkseid first entered Earth, and some of the Greek gods like Zeus and Ares teamed up with the Atlanteans and Amazons to help defeat Darkseid. Other than that, Wonder Woman's appearances don't have much to do with the gods, which is especially apparent in Wonder Woman 1984, in which she just encounters Cheetah and Maxwell Lord for the most part. In the potential of James Gunn's new reboot, I think it would be wise to lean more into Wonder Woman's mythological roots, as this could essentially be accomplished by incorporating more Greek mythology characters and aspects, including gods and goddesses like Zeus, Hera, a new interpretation of Ares, Circe, or any just other, I guess, well-known Greek aspects that are very prevalent in Wonder Woman comic storylines, which is something that I think James Gunn is kind of conveying, pretty well, with the fact that he's adapting a lot of elements from the comics, which I kind of went over in my video on what I think it does differently than what Marvel's doing, as Marvel kind of likes to stray away from the comics. Additionally, Wonder Woman's powers and abilities could also be further explored and explained in a way that ties them back to her divine heritage. This would be the best opportunity to truly showcase her strength and why she's so regarded as one of the more powerful Justice League members. And in my eyes, they could have Wonder Woman serve as kind of like the DCU's Kratos, in a sense of encountering different beings and monsters in that Greek mythology. So instead of focusing on like fighting people like Maxwell Lord, you could really dive into pick and choose characters or monsters or deities from Greek mythology and have her face up against that. Another aspect of Wonder Woman's character that's been underserved in previous films is her role as a leader. As an Amazon and a member of the Justice League, she's a natural leader who commands respect and inspires others. But in a lot of the other films in the DCU, this aspect of her character has been kind of overshadowed by her physical prowess. I think in a James Gunn reboot, it would be important to showcase Wonder Woman's leadership abilities, as this could be accomplished by giving her more opportunities to lead, whether it's within the Justice League or in her own solo adventures. Additionally, her ability to inspire others and bring out the best in them could be emphasized, making her a true beacon of hope and strength as she is in the comics. She's more of an empathetic, character to the plight of others and tends to lead with love rather than power and fear. She values truth and justice and fights for those who can't really fight for themselves. She really serves as a reminder of what we can achieve when we're working with the best of, these qualities. My hope for the future is that with an inevitable Justice League film, it does kind of a decent job of establishing the team dynamic within the Trinity, as I believe a Justice League origin film wouldn't be necessary. I think that if they were to do a Justice League film, they could kind of have it be like year 2 win, or it's already established, and just really, give highlight to her importance in the team dynamic and why she's so looked up upon within the, I guess, group of superheroes. I think this is kind of shown in that cameo in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Like, I haven't seen it yet, from what I have seen, through like discussions and stuff, she is like admired there, but it kind of just came out of nowhere a bit, and you kind of just had to look at the plot holes in there. But I do think like the best way to really give highlight to her leadership skills is to have her like kind of be sort of as like a mentor or like a role model for like other inspiring heroes that will arise, like I guess serve as the next generation of heroes, which I think is kind of one criticism that previous Wonder Woman movies do, is that her relationships with other characters have been somewhat underdeveloped. While she's had relationships and connections with characters like Steve Trevor, her connections with other heroes and allies have been somewhat superficial, outside of her appearance in Justice League and BVS. In a DCU reboot, it would be wise to give Wonder Woman more personal relationships with other characters. This could include deepening her connections with members of the Justice League, or introducing new characters who have been important allies or friends later down the line. This could serve as a perfect segue into introducing characters like Donna Troy Wonder Girl, or any other Wonder Woman cast or supporting cast of heroes and villains that really add depth and complexity to the character. The character of Donna Troy could be used as a gateway into becoming a future member of the Teen Titans, or one of the pillars of the next generation of DC heroes alongside Dick Grayson. I think a good live action adaptation of this is the Titan show. You see her in season 1 interacting with Dick Grayson, and then you see kind of like flashbacks when she was a part of the Titans as well. And in season 3, at the end of season 2 when she died, and then in season 3 when Raven goes to Themyscira, to try to revive her, you see like aspects of that lore that I think could be translated into a live action Wonder Woman movie. But overall, those are just some of my thoughts on what I think they should do differently when it comes to a potential DCU reboot, and why I think Wonder Woman is such an important character in the DC universe. I think just kind of a step-by-step guideline to really introduce people to a fresh new interpretation of the character.